Welcome, everybody. It's me, Leaping Larry, and I'm here with Juche Gang bringing you another read, a most base read today. Kim Jong-il, let us bring the advantages of our people's government into fuller play. This was a letter to the participants at the National Lecture for the Course of Officials of the People's Government Organizations, December 21st, 1992. And the contents, it has a few different chapters. So we'll probably do at least one chapter today. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. 20 years have passed since the great leader, Comrade Kim Il sung, made public the Socialist Constitution of the Democratic People's Republic of Korea. In this time, the Socialist Constitution has been embodied in a thoroughgoing way in all sectors of socialist construction, further consolidating the people's government and bringing about an epoch-making advance in the struggle for modeling the whole society on the Juche idea. The political, economic, and military foundations of the people's government have been built up rock solid. Its function and role enhanced, and the three revolutions, ideological, technical, and cultural, positively promoted. As a result, the masses of the working people are more satisfactorily guaranteed independent and creative activities in all fields of national and social life. The brilliant successes in the consolidation and development of the people's government and triumphant advance of socialist construction is inseparable from the noble efforts of the officials of government organizations, who have worked devotedly with unfailing loyalty to the party and the leader and to the motherland and the people. Availing myself of this lecture course for officials of the people's government organizations, I would like to extend on behalf of the Party Central Committee and on my own warm thanks to all the officials of government organizations who have worked with devotion under the leadership of the party to consolidate the people's power and improve its function and role so as to vigorously step up socialist construction and add luster to our own style of socialism centered on the masses. Our revolutionary cause, which has been advancing triumphantly under the banner of the Juche idea, is developing today in a new historical situation. Socialism has suffered setbacks in several countries, and with this, as a momentum, the imperialists and reactionaries are resorting to blatant anti-socialist schemes. In this difficult situation, we are striving to safeguard and advance our style of socialism centered on the masses. Our people have a sacred duty to the epoch and to history to smash the counter-revolutionary offensive of the imperialists and reactionaries, advance the socialist cause, and expedite the historic cause of reunifying the country. The prevailing situation at home and abroad, and the grave revolutionary tasks facing us demand that we consolidate the people's government without let-up, and further enhance its function and role. At the historic third session of the Ninth Supreme People's Assembly, the Socialist Constitution, which the great leader had revised and supplemented with deep insight into the requirements of the developing situation, was promulgated. The new Socialist Constitution is a Juche-oriented manifesto of socialist politics in that it consolidates by law the great victory and achievements of our people in socialist construction, and stipulates in a comprehensive way important principles and tasks for safeguarding the socialist cause and consummating it brilliantly. And of course, as us Marxists know, consummating socialism means reaching the higher stage of communism, as socialism really is synonymous with lower stage of communism. That's all it means. Communism and socialism are not qualitatively different, remember. They are quantitatively different. Between capitalism and socialism, you have a qualitative difference. And when socialist society is set up, the skeleton of a new society is set up, upon which communism is then built. So socialism has, on one hand, the collectivism of communism, and on the other hand, it has the hangovers of capitalism. Anyway, I'll continue now. We must further strengthen the people's government as an invincible weapon of our revolution and bring its advantages into full play by applying the socialist constitution in a thoroughgoing way, completing the socialist cause of Juche. Chapter 1. On the solidarity and vitality of the people's government. Yeah, hangover is a really good illustration. It's like something that's there that you will have to get over, and it takes time to do it. It is a great analogy. The people's government is a sturdy political weapon in the revolution and construction for consolidating and developing the socialist system, and winning the final victory of the socialist cause, aka achieving that higher stage of communism. Government is political authority wielded over all. Oh, here we go. This is the one that we really wish anarchists would listen to, but I got banned off of Twitch because I think I pissed off too many anarchists and Trotskyists. But I digress. I'll continue reading now. Government is political authority wielded over all the members of society to defend and satisfy the demands and interests of a class or a social community. It is also a basic factor that decides the character of a social system and the development of a society. The masses of the people can carve out their destiny independently and creatively as genuine masters of state and society only when they have become the masters of the political power. The masses' cause of independence, i.e., their struggle to consummate the cause of socialism and communism, is a gigantic and complicated creative process of wiping out all sorts of remnants of the old society, those hangovers, and transforming nature, society, and humanity in line with the masses' essential nature of independence. Their demand. And if you want to learn more about that essential nature of humanity's to have independence, remember, as Juche followers, we reject the idea that humanity has no nature, because if that were the case, we would be the only thing to not have a nature at all. It might be malleable, it might be moldable, but humanity still has a nature, and one of those natures is independence. And if you want to learn more about that, check out my e-reading of On the Juche Idea, or On the Juche Philosophy. It is accompanied by a fierce class struggle to smash the anti-socialist maneuvers of the enemy, both at home and abroad. For the victorious advance of the socialist and communist cause, all the members of society should be rallied into a single political force for the consolidation of the motive force of revolution and the improvement of its role, and a thoroughgoing dictatorship over the class enemies should be enforced. The work of organizing and mobilizing the popular masses for the revolutionary struggle and construction work for realizing their independence can be performed only by the people's government, under the leadership of the working class party. The people's government represents the independent rights and interests of the masses. It is also a political organization which organizes the masses and leads them to the accomplishment of the cause of socialism and communism. Consolidation of the people's government is precisely the safeguarding and development of the socialist system. And its consolidation is a sure guarantee for advancing it and accomplishing the masses' cause of independence in triumph. Our people's government is a highly stable and viable socialist government, which is accomplishing the cause of socialism and communism. It is genuine socialist power centered on the popular masses and guided by the Juche idea. The guiding ideology is the basic factor that determines the character and mission, as well as the principle and modes of the activities of the government. It also guarantees stability and vitality of power. The forms of socialist governments and the principles and modes of their activities vary in accordance with the ideologies guiding them. In order for a socialist government to preserve its working class and popular character, and execute politics suited to the intrinsic demands of socialist society, it should base itself on a guiding ideology that reflects truthfully the requirements of the times and the developing revolution. Damn good advice, I say. The Juche idea is a humanity-centered world outlook. It is a revolutionary, scientific, and political theory that accurately illuminates the way for realizing the independence of the masses. The idea has set up a worldview and a standpoint with humanity at the center, giving a scientific elucidation of the law governing the socio-historical process, with the masses as the center, and explained new guiding principles of revolution and construction by reflecting the intrinsic demands of the masses. It is a supremely correct guiding ideology of revolution and construction in our times, created in reflection of the masses' aspirations for independence. Its rightness and vitality have been tested graphically in revolutionary practice. Our people's government, proceeding from the Juche idea, was established and is run by the people in conformity with their will and desire, and through their efforts. In its construction and activities, it places the masses' demand and interest in independence at the center, and subordinates everything to enhancing their position and role. The essential advantage of our people's government that embodies the Juche idea is that it ensures the masses exercise substantially their rights as masters of the government and politics, and perform their responsibilities and role as such. It is a fundamental principle in building the people's government that the masses must be empowered as the masters of the government and make it serve them. The people's government strictly adheres to the independent and creative stance, and takes ideology as an essential matter in the revolution and construction. The independent and creative stands are the fundamental stands and methods that should be maintained in revolution and construction. It is only when these stands are adhered to by the government in its activities that it can successfully carry out the revolution and construction in conformity with the interests of the people and the concrete realities of the country, and defend to the last the socialist cause in any adversity, opposed to the worship of great powers, dogmatism, and all other outdated ideas of all descriptions. It regards as its invariable principle the solution of all problems arising in the building of the government and in its activities in accordance with its independent judgment and viewpoint and the actual realities of our country, and by drawing on the efforts of the people. It is building up the economy and defense capability by relying on the people and to suit the realities of the country. Juche in ideology, independence in politics, self-sufficiency in economy, and self-reliance in national defense is the guiding principle upheld by our people's government in the revolutionary struggle and construction work. Promoting the revolution and construction by heightening the masses' ideological consciousness is an intrinsic requirement of the revolutionary movement and socialist society. It is also the basic key for the people's government to gain success in the revolutionary struggle and construction work. A socialist society develops through the purposeful and conscious efforts of the masses, its masters. Only when the main stress is put on the people's ideology can the revolution and construction be promoted in conformity with the masses' demand and aspiration for independence. Only then can socialist society be developed steadily by enhancing the role of the masses. It maintains as its constant principle in socialist construction, giving of priority to political work to heighten the independent ideological consciousness of the masses, while combining it with administrative and business work, as well as economic and technical work. It is the historic mission of the people's government to apply in a thoroughgoing way the Juche idea into all spheres of public activity, and provide the masses with a fully independent and creative life. All members of society should be remolded into communists of the Juche type, and society and nature transformed as required by the Juche idea by applying this idea. Only then can the ideological and material fortresses of communism be occupied. Modeling the whole society on Juche idea is the general target of the activities of the people's government. By building itself and performing its activities with the Juche idea as the guiding ideology, our people's government is providing the masses with genuine rights and freedoms, and an ethical, civilized life in all state and social spheres. It is also safeguarding the independence of the country and the nation. The people's government is a stable socialist power, whose socio-political foundation is the broad masses of people. The socio-political foundation constitutes the basis of building of a government and its activities. A government separated from that foundation is inconceivable, as its existence and power are dependent on its socio-political foundation. Needless to say, economic power and defense capabilities are important factors that guarantee the building of government and its activities. Nevertheless, however, develop the economy and however strong the defenses a government has, it cannot demonstrate its vitality nor maintain its existence if its socio-political foundation is not solid. A government based on a stable social and class foundation and supported by the broad masses will thrive. One which is neither based on such a foundation nor supported by the masses will crumble. In other words, your society has to have, your state, your people's government has to have A, class consciousness, and B, mass support. The socio-political foundation of a government is closely related to its form. With the wide participation of the workers, farmers, intellectuals, and other working masses of all strata in the revolutionary movement of our times, the social and class foundations of the revolution became remarkably wide. And this demanded the steady expansion and consolidation of the socio-political foundation of the working class government. The people's government is a socialist power of a new type, which was established reflecting the law-governed requirements of the development of the revolutionary movement of our times, as the socio-political base of the struggle for independence became broader. The people's government is a truly popular power, relying on the workers, farmers, intellectuals, and other broad working masses. The power in our country is held by all classes and strata of the society which are on the side of revolution. The people's government provides them with equal political rights and freedom in all areas of state and public activity. Our people's government enabled even the religious believers and non-comprador capitalists who love their country and people to be the masters of power in the past and is still taking responsible care of their destiny to the last. from the first day after its inception as the people's democratic government. It has enjoyed the absolute trust of the masses of all strata, and is still enjoying the deep trust of the whole people. Convinced that a worthwhile life for them and the happiness of their prosperity are guaranteed by the people's government, our people are striving devoutly for its strengthening and development. Having developed on the basis of the worker-peasant alliance, led by the working class, and by relying on the united front of the broad popular masses, the socio-political foundation of our people's government is being further strengthened today by the main force of the whole of the people, united single-mindedly. Power, relying on the broad popular masses, has a positive influence on the mustering of all class and strata of society, to the effort for attaining the common goal of the society and developing the social and class relations into a collective one, of helping and leading one another. With the people's government as a weapon, our people have carried out 2 stages of social revolution: established the socialist system, and united single-mindedly in their effort to consummate the revolutionary cause of Juche. The social and political foundation of single-minded unity on which our people's government is based is the most solid unity, whereby the leader and the party and the masses form an integral whole. The relationship between the leader, the party, and the masses in our country can be likened to the one between the seed, the stone, and the flesh of a peach. The seed is protected and can mature only when the flesh ripens fully. Likewise, the party is strengthened and the guidance of the leader provided effectively when the masses live and fight regarding the revolutionary ideology of the party and the leader as the only yardstick in shaping their destiny. Nothing can demolish the socio-political foundation of our people's government, whereby all the people are united single-mindedly behind the party and the leader in one ideology and purpose, as well in ethics and loyalty, based on Comrade Kim Il-sung's revolutionary idea, the Juche idea. The leader, the party, and the masses forming a single solid socio-political organism on the basis of revolutionary comradeship and loyalty is the true nature of the socio-political foundation on which our people's government is based. Our people's government is the most solid and vigorous socialist power, provided with the distinguished leadership of the great leader Comrade Kim Il-sung. The decisive factor that guarantees the solidarity and the solidity and vitality of this socialist government is the leadership provided by an outstanding working class leader, aka a leader from the masses. That's not a leader standing above the masses. That's not great. Do not mistake that, is what I'm saying, for great man theory or whatever the fuck you want to think here. That's why it's specifying outstanding working class leader. And what is an outstanding working class leader? He might get into it here, but if you read Socialism as Science, he specifies more specifically, it's a leader that is able to rouse great enthusiasm among their comrades, among their fellow masses, among their fellow working class, and at the same time is also taking their influence and their leadership from them and loves the people wholeheartedly. And if you reject that, then so what are you saying? We don't need leadership? I don't know. Seems a little anarchist to me. Of course it's a collective leadership, but we cannot deny there's that certain relation between the individual leader who is able to arouse that great enthusiasm and rally the masses behind that cause of the party, and the masses themselves, which are made up as well of individuals. So basically campism. Actually, since we're on this read, I just do want to point out, because like, I know most people listening to this are probably pro DPRK, right? So I'm not too worried about that. but just for the sake of getting it out there, just for the sake of saying it, why don't we go ahead and just F11 here for a second? And there's two quotes here that I want to show you. Just to show you that someone else has noticed the same thing. It's not just DPRK trying to justify a cult of personality, quote unquote, which I take objection to regarding socialist society anyway, for reasons of you treating the masses like a herd rather than intelligent, independent beings. But I digress and want to read you two Che quotes. So, here's two Che quotes, sort of on the same topic. They no longer travel completely alone over lost roads towards distant aspirations. They follow their vanguard, consisting of the party, the advanced workers, the advanced individuals, who walk in unity with the masses and in close communion with them. The vanguard has its eyes fixed on the future and its reward, but this is not a vision of reward for the individual. The prize is the new society in which individuals will have different characteristics. The society of communist human beings. And now we're going to further elaborate on this by getting down to Fidel in particular. In this, Fidel is a master. His own special way of fusing himself with the people can be appreciated only by seeing him in action. At the great public mass meeting, one can observe something like a dialogue of two tuning forks, whose vibrations interact, producing new sounds. Fidel and the mass begin to vibrate together in a dialogue of growing intensity until they reach the climax in an abrupt conclusion crowned by our cry of struggle and victory. The difficult thing to understand for someone not living through the experience of the revolution is this close dialectical unity between the individual and the mass, in which both are interrelated, and at the same time in which the mass, as an aggregate of individuals, interacts with its leaders. Some phenomena of this kind can be seen under capitalism, when politicians appear capable of mobilizing popular opinion. But when these are not genuine movements, and if they were, it would not be entirely correct to call them capitalist, they live only so long as the individual who inspires them, or until the harshness of capitalist society puts an end to the people's illusions. Unquote. Che Guevara. That's from Socialism and Man in Cuba. And I just want to show you that what we're talking about here is not a prescription for society. It's a description of the way socialist society and revolution plays out. And denying this character between the working class leader and the masses does not help us build revolution. It's just denying reality. Understanding this character between the masses and their working class leader helps us better adhere to the laws of revolution. And that's what revolution's all about, right? We can't dictate to the people. The people build the revolution themselves. The vanguard can be a guide and can map out and understand where the masses are headed, but that's what it's doing. It's not dictating to the masses where to go. So these people, here's the interesting thing then. These people who are saying, well, what you say, they're offended by hearing Che say that, or saying they're focusing too much on Fidel, or they shouldn't have so many pictures of Kim Jong-il or Kim Il-sung in DPRK, and they're doing it wrong, and they need to focus less on the leaders. Those people are being subjective, actually. And those people are actually acting without knowing it, and with the best intentions. They're acting like little petty tyrants, you see. And they're thinking that they can dictate to the masses how they should react and relate to their chosen and to their leaders that they have rallied behind, you see. You see how arrogant that is? Do you trust the masses or don't you? You see? We're not dictating to the masses. We're understanding where they're going. And that's the only way as a revolutionary party you can stand at the head of the masses, by understanding where they're going and correctly reflecting where they're headed, so that they can go, yep, that's what causes them to rally behind that vanguard party, is that correct reflection of the most advanced ideas, the most advanced direction of movement of the working class and the working masses that sort of follow it in this struggle against capitalism. Dialectical unity, baby. Yeah, but so imagine having a picture of one of the people who liberated your country in your home. Yeah, imagine having a picture of one of the people who liberated your country in your home is weird, but many people do. And then those same people will, like, they feel a certain way when Taylor Swift does something or whatever. But I digress. Back to the yeah, Frankster. Some people should dictate to me. I should revere George Washington. Exactly. Hi, Mumies. So that's why I say what you should understand when you look at DPRK and the relation between leaders and the people, or between Stalin and the people. You should not look at it and be like, how can we make the people like their leaders less or be less dependent on these individuals? You should actually look at it and study it and understand that and realize how then to use that in our own revolutionary struggle. That would get us a lot further. Just saying. You know? Like, instead of denying that and just trying to build something in denial of that, where we're just like not gonna talk about leaders like that, imagine if we actually understood that and built their movement around that, right? Like, I mean, Black Panthers understood this to a degree, in a way that no other parties now do, really. We see, like, candidates like PSL. That's the one critique I would have, like, especially right now. We don't have a good leader. There's no good leader around. At least not super visible. There's some potentials, Chris Smalls, I'm telling you. Watching that guy. But like, the Black Panthers understood this. They had people that were leaders. But yeah, that would be my critique of, like, my main critique of even the good communist parties that are working here in the US and in Canada. They need leader. They need to understand this leadership theory of DPRK. They need Juche. They should go to DPRK and they should, like, take a social science class in Pyongyang and learn about why that is so vital. And then think about that in their own revolutionary struggle and how they can use that. And actually, okay, I'm gonna just, I know I'm right off the rails at this point, but, like, the thing, you can see it, like, with Zoran, right? The thing that annoys me with Zoran is you can see that would work, right? But PSL and other ones are sort of too cowardly, in a sense, to do that, because it would be a little bit Stalinist looking, maybe. You know what I'm saying? It'd be a little bit too personality cult type of thing. But really, like, that face behind, like I say, Zoran shows that people are thirsty for, like, a face that will be a face of that. Even if they have said things about communism and socialism in the past, and we know in his case he's a social democrat, but just having a leader does make a difference, and there isn't really that in any of the parties of the West right now, which would be a huge boon. That's a big missing factor, I would say. And yeah, they are definitely lacking ideological guidance. I know some people who studied in DVRK. Alright, I'll continue now. Sorry for that long sidetrack. The decisive factor that guarantees the solidity and vitality of the socialist government is the leadership provided by an outstanding, and again, I emphasize, working class leader. The prominent working class leader originates the idea and theories on the building of a socialist government and develops them as required by the times and the development of the revolution. Under his leadership, her leadership, their leadership, the socialist government, I want to remind you, we're reading a translation, and in original Korean, it wouldn't be either. So, under their leadership, the socialist government is established and its activities oriented at every stage of the revolution and construction. The working class leader establishes and guides the socialist government, a weapon in the revolution and construction, with which to put his ideas and leadership into effect. The socialist government, separated from their ideas and leadership, cannot conduct revolutionary and popular politics. Look at USSR. The politics of the socialist government is nothing but the working class leader's politics, and its might and vitality are dependent on the greatness of their politics. The great leader originated the immortal Juche idea, and on this basis shed light on the line of building a people's government which would reflect the requirements of the times and the developing revolution, and applied it effectively, smashing all the fucking reactionary trends at the time in the process, by the way. He was the founder of our people's government and is an outstanding politician who exercises politics centered on the masses in state activities. The great leader's politics is self-reliant politics. The masses' struggle for independence is waged with a country and people as a unit. Their destiny is linked to the destiny of their country and its people as one, which is guaranteed by self-reliant politics. If a power does not pursue such politics, it cannot defend the dignity and interests of the country, and its people, and the masses cannot but be reduced to colonial slaves. Independence in politics is the first criteria of a sovereign state. In the revolutionary struggle and construction, the great leader has formulated all lines in politics in conformity with the interests of our people and the realities of our country, and carried them out by drawing on the efforts of our people. Thanks to his independent politics, the dignity and honor of our country and its people has been brought to a distinction today, and a new path hewn for the destiny of our people. The great leader's politics is genuinely democratic politics. Democracy is the basic criterion that characterizes the progressive nature of a power, and the basic mode of politics to realize the masses' independence. Democracy should be ensured in all social spheres, so that masses may lead an independent and creative life. The great leader clarified the truth that the masses are the masters of politics, and politics should serve them, and has pursued politics which crystallized the thinking of the masses. Thanks to his democratic politics, our people are provided with equal political rights and freedom, and are leading worthwhile and happy life to their heart's content. The great leader's politics pursues unity. The unity of the popular masses is the source of stability and strength of a socialist government, and a sure guarantee for realizing the independence of the masses. The masses of the people must unite to realize and defend their independence. From the time he first embarked on the road of revolutionary struggle, the great leader has regarded unity as the basic factor ensuring victory in the revolution, and devoted his all to the unity and cohesion of the revolutionary ranks. By pursuing unity-oriented politics, he magnanimously embraced all those who, having transgressed against the country and the people in the past, have since taken the road of patriotism. Today, this politics of the leader has united the masses of all strata into one, and arousing them for the effort of socialist construction and national reunification. The great leader's politics is benevolent politics. The people are the masters of society. They are the creators of social wealth. Genuine politics for them should respect them and grant them all benefits. The great leader regards the people as his revolutionary comrades and teachers, and brings them all manner of honor and happiness. He leads them as a benevolent father would do, and shows them gracious affection while taking pleasure from the people's joy. Thanks to his benevolent politics, our people's government is performing faithfully its duty as a faithful servant of the people, and the people are enjoying a worthwhile life without any worries in all social spheres. The great leader's politics based on independence, democracy, unity, and benevolence originates in his deep love and trust for the masses of the people. Love for and trust in the masses are the fundamental principle of politics pursued by him. They are the kernel and the basis of the politics centered on the masses of the people. Love for the people. Simple as that. As is said, a great revolutionary, you cannot be a great revolutionary and not love the people. That our people's government, under the revolutionary banner of the Juche idea, is bringing its might and vitality into full play by relying on the powerful motive force of the revolution is a brilliant outcome of the great leader's politics based on independence, democracy, unity, and benevolence. The embodiment of the political ideals of Juche and of independence, democracy, unity, and benevolence under the leadership of the leader is a source of the great attractive force and invincibility of our people's government, which is adding luster to our style of socialism centered on the masses and carrying forward brilliantly the revolutionary cause of Juche. The guiding ideology, social political foundation, and leaders' guidance are the main factors that decide the solidarity and vitality of the socialist government and the successful construction of socialism and communism. This is a valuable, and that's why the ACP will never be popular, prankster. Among other reasons. This is a valuable revolutionary truth emerging from the historical lessons of the international communist movement at a time when socialist governments have collapsed and the socialist cause has suffered setbacks in several countries. It is also a stark reality of our revolution, which has staunchly safeguarded the socialist cause and is advancing it with success in an uncommonly disadvantageous revolutionary situation and in the face of trying difficulties. Learning a serious lesson from this, the revolutionary parties and people of the world have risen up today to rehabilitate the socialist movement and advance it. Our own style of socialism, which is accomplishing the revolutionary cause of Juche by strengthening the people's government and pressing ahead with the three revolutions, ideological, technical, and cultural, under the leadership of the party and the leader, is instilling hope and conviction for the future and courage in the hearts of progressive peoples who have risen to build new societies. As masters of the state and society and the bosom of the people's government, our people are enjoying a dignified, happy, and worthwhile life. Through their practical experience, they feel affectionately the preciousness of the people's government. Our workers, farmers, intellectuals, and all the other people have now cast their lot with the people's government and visualize, through its development, a brilliant future when the socialist cause of Juche will emerge victorious, and when their independent and creative life will be brought into fuller bloom. As it is guided by the immortal Juche idea, based on the firm socio-political foundation, and provided with the sagacious leadership of the great leader, our people's government has become an invincible socialist power. And a beacon of hope and battle flag, spurring humankind to the accomplishment of the cause of independence. We must further strengthen this most stable and vigorous people's government so as to safeguard and add luster to our style of socialism centered on the masses in any adversity. There you go. That's part one. Next time we read this, we'll read on further enhancing the function and role of the people's government.